Your grocery bill is bleeding money, and it isn't the food doing it. It's the little layer wrapped around the food, the cutting, the packaging, the marketing that you pay for again and again without ever noticing. The same items sit at eye level in your store right now, marked up 2, 5, sometimes 10 times what the exact same food costs one shelf over, or almost nothing when you make it at home. Japanese food culture has a blunt name for the instinct that refuses to pay it: Mottainai, a real discomfort with letting anything of value go to waste, money included. Line that up against an American supermarket, and 23 everyday purchases stop making any sense. Skipping them on your very next shop can take a serious chunk off your bill, without a single coupon, and without changing one meal your family eats. Once you see the full list, you'll never look at your own cart the same way again. I'm going to walk you through all 23, including number 1, which turns the most expensive protein in the store into the cheapest, and number 19, the trick the meat counter really doesn't want you to know. The first idea is the big one: stop paying the store to do your cutting. Number 1, never buy the boneless, skinless chicken breast. The exact same bird, bought whole, runs a fraction of the per-pound price of the breast cut off on its own tray, and you're paying a real premium for a few minutes of knife work. A whole bird does far more anyway. Meat for a couple of meals, then the bones simmered into a stock that would cost you several dollars a carton on the shelf. Same chicken. The only difference on the register is the butchering you could do yourself. And if a whole chicken feels like a lot, the thighs alone are usually the cheapest good cut in the store and the hardest to overcook. So even trading the breast tray for bone-in thighs drops that line on your bill every week. Call it the first hidden tax in the store, the cutting tax. Once you spot it, you start seeing it in aisle after aisle. Number 2, buy the whole fish, never the fillet. A whole fish often costs $3 to $5 a pound, while the same fish filleted 2 shelves over runs $12 to $18. And those fillets are usually days older, cut in advance for a longer life on the tray. Here's what almost nobody uses. Most seafood counters will scale, gut, and fillet a whole fish for you, for free, if you just ask. The tray removes that option and charges you for it. The head and bones you take home aren't waste either. Simmered for 20 minutes, they become the base of a soup, so one purchase turns into 2 meals instead of 1. And if the fish counter charges you for cutting, the produce aisle has figured out how to charge you for it twice. Number 3. Skip the pre-cut fruit and vegetables. A whole watermelon costs a few dollars, while a small tray of pre-cut watermelon, half the size, can cost more than the whole one did. That pattern runs across the whole produce aisle. And the maddening part is that cut fruit starts drying out and losing freshness under the store lights the moment it's packaged. So the premium version is also the one going bad fastest. You pay more for food that's already worse. The fix is 20 minutes of prep on a Sunday, cubing a melon, slicing peppers, in front of whatever you're watching anyway, and it replaces the entire pre-cut section for the week. The cutting tax gets even sneakier when the store doesn't even cut anything, it just rinses. Number 4. Put back the bagged salad. A pre-washed bag can run up to $10 a pound for lettuce that's often wilting the day it leaves the store, so a chunk of every bag hits the trash uneaten, and the real price per serving you eat is far higher. A whole head and 30 seconds under the tap cost a fraction and last about 3 times as long. And a head of romaine or green leaf keeps in the crisper drawer for a week and a half, long after the bagged version would have turned to slime. Once you start noticing this pattern, you see it everywhere, even in the cheese. Number 5. Never buy pre-shredded cheese. Shredded costs noticeably more than the block sitting right next to it, and the bag is dusted with anti-caking powders that actually make the cheese melt worse. A block and a hand grater give you fresher, cheaper, better melting cheese in 30 seconds, and it keeps far longer in the fridge because a solid block has far less surface area for mold to get started on than a bag of loose shreds. That's the grading tax, and it's the last of the cutting tricks. The next set of taxes isn't about cutting at all. It's about the plastic. That's the cutting. The second idea is bigger than people realize. Stop paying for packaging. Number 6. Drop the single-serve yogurt cups. A little cup routinely costs 2 to 5 times more per pound than the exact same yogurt in a big tub beside it. And that daily habit adds a few $100s a year, spent almost entirely on plastic you throw out seconds after opening. A big tub scooped into your own small jars costs a fraction, and it's fresher because the tub sells faster. Keep a stack of small lidded jars by the fridge and portion the whole week in one go on a Sunday, and the single-serve aisle disappears from your cart for good. This one's the packaging tax, and once you're looking for it, it's everywhere. Number 7. Stop buying individually wrapped snacks. Break down what a box of little cracker packs costs against one big bag of the identical crackers, and you're often paying double, almost all of it for the extra wrappers. A cheap set of reusable containers, filled from a big bag the night before, replaces the whole category, and the snacks inside are identical. It's the exact habit Japanese kids grow up with, a small compartment box packed at home, and the container pays for itself inside a month. Number 8. Quit the bottled coffee and tea. A bottled cold brew from a big chain runs about $5, while the same coffee brewed at home costs closer to 10 cents a cup, and the bottled iced tea beside it is a few dollars for tea that costs pennies a liter. A pitcher, a box of tea bags, and 5 minutes replace that whole wall of bottles. A permanent pitcher of cold tea in the fridge is completely ordinary in Japan, usually a cold roasted barley tea in summer, and paying a few dollars for a single bottle of it would strike most people there as strange. The same pitcher habit works with any tea bag you already like. Number 9. Skip the frozen smoothie packs. A pre-portioned pack usually costs about twice what the same frozen fruit costs in a big bag, and many are padded with fillers and added sugar. A bag of frozen berries and a banana make the same smoothie for half the price, with more real fruit going in. That's the packaging tax paid 3 different ways. The next set is subtler because you're not paying for a bag or a knife. You're paying someone to stir. The third idea quietly runs your whole kitchen. Stop paying for convenience you can make in 90 seconds. Number 10. Stop buying bottled salad dressing. A bottle of ranch or Italian runs $4 to $6 for what's basically oil, vinegar, and seasoning, held together with gum so it survives a year and a half on a shelf. The same thing whisked at home costs around 30 cents, takes under 2 minutes, and tastes better because it isn't a year old. Number 11. Don't buy boxed baking mixes. A $2 box of brownie mix holds maybe 40 cents of flour, sugar, cocoa, and salt, plus preservatives so it lasts 18 months. The same brownies from scratch cost about the same, with a short, readable ingredient list and better flavor. The same math holds for pancake, cake, and cornbread mix. Keep flour, sugar, baking soda, oil, and eggs on hand, and you can make any of them directly, from a list of ingredients short enough to read out loud. Number 12. Skip the flavored coffee creamer. That bottle of French vanilla usually contains no vanilla, just hydrogenated oil, corn syrup solids, and artificial flavor for about $100 a year. A splash of real milk and a little real vanilla at home replaces every bottle for pennies a cup. Number 13. Make your own stock instead of buying cartons. The bones from that whole chicken and the vegetable ends you'd normally throw out, onion skins, carrot tops, mushroom stems, simmer into a rich stock that replaces the $4 carton on the shelf. You already paid for those scraps once. Call the whole middle of the store the convenience tax. A few dollars, over and over, for 90 seconds of work. And the aisles that charge the very most don't even bother with a real excuse. The fourth idea is where the biggest markups of all hide, and they're the ones that sting the most once you see them. Stop paying for marketing. Number 14. Ignore anything labeled a superfood. A small bag of goji berries can run north of $20 a pound, while blueberries and strawberries, right there with them nutritionally, cost a quarter of that at the same store. Superfood isn't a scientific category at all. It's just a word, one a marketer can stick on almost anything to justify the price, and we all fell for it for about a decade. The real nutritional heavy hitters are the ordinary fruits, vegetables, and grains sitting a few aisles over for a quarter of the cost. Number 15. Drop the name brand cereal. A name brand box often runs $6 to $8 against maybe $3 for the store version, which is frequently made by a large manufacturer and can be startlingly close to the box with the cartoon on it. Blind taste tests usually can't tell them apart. You're paying for the mascot, not the food. Number 16. Walk past the diet label aisle. A jar of keto-labeled peanut butter can cost several times a regular jar whose ingredient list reads exactly the same: peanuts and salt. Most of that fast-growing specialty diet category is ordinary food repackaged with a word like keto or paleo or clean. When food is genuinely healthy, it doesn't need a sticker to say so. Number 17. Stop buying spices from the big supermarket brand. A tiny name brand jar can cost several dollars for what an Indian, Middle Eastern, or Asian grocery sells for well under $1, often the same spice and fresher because those shops move product faster. Buy whole spices in bulk from a market like that and store them airtight, and you get stronger flavor for a fraction of the price, because those shops sell through their stock fast instead of letting a jar fade on a shelf for months. Number 18. Don't fall for the bakery smell. Much of the supermarket bakery case arrives pre-baked from a central facility and gets finished in-store, and the margin on it is among the highest in the building. The day-old rack sells the same items at half the price, often just a shelf away from the full-price version of the identical loaf, and a $2 box of brownie mix makes as much dessert as a $12 bakery tray. That's the marketing tax, the most expensive one of all, because you can't even hold the thing you're paying for. Which leaves the last group, and it's the one the whole idea was built on. The fifth idea ties everything together, and it's the most Japanese of the 5. Stop wasting what you already bought. Number 19. Refuse the pre-marinated meat. And this is the one the meat counter would rather you didn't know. A pound of plain chicken at $5 becomes teriyaki chicken at $8. A big markup for a marinade that cost the store cents. And people who've worked meat counters have said for years that pre-marinated trays are often how a store quietly moves meat near its sell-by date. The strong flavor and color covering for a cut that would otherwise get discounted. A marinade stirred at home in 3 minutes enhances a fresh cut instead of hiding a tired one, and you know exactly what's in it. This is the one that changed how I walk past that counter, honestly. Once you hear it, you can't unhear it. Number 20. Buy with the seasons. Out-of-season produce is shipped from the far side of the world and priced like it, while in-season produce is cheaper, better, and often local. Letting what's abundant and cheap that month shape your meals, instead of forcing a recipe that needs something priced like a luxury, is one of the oldest money savers there is. In-season produce is also usually at its peak for flavor and nutrition at the same moment it's cheapest, so you're not trading quality for the saving, you're getting both. Number 21. Freeze it before it dies. So much of a creeping grocery bill is food that spoiled before you got to it. Freeze meat and fish the day you buy them, bread by the slice, mushrooms and ginger and green onion, so nothing rots in the back of the fridge. Food frozen at its peak is money you didn't throw away. Number 22. Turn leftovers into a second meal. Yesterday's hard rice becomes fried rice or a savory rice soup. Last night's chicken bones become tonight's broth. Bread going stale becomes the base of another dish. Nothing in the kitchen is really finished until it's been used twice. That one shift in thinking, treating the fridge as a source of meals instead of a graveyard, is where a surprising amount of a wasted grocery bill comes back. Number 23. Cook at home and shop your own fridge first. Before buying more, use up what's already there, the odd vegetables, the last of the rice, turned into a soup or a stir-fry. Nothing on this whole list saves more than simply not buying prepared and delivered food. And every other trick exists to make cooking at home cheap and fast enough that you actually do it. Step back, and all 23 are really the same move. The store found a way to sell you a layer around your food. The cutting, the packaging, the convenience, the marketing, and refusing to pay for that layer is the whole reason a careful cart costs so much less. That refusal is the practical heart of Mottainai, and it's the idea behind this channel, one dish at a time. Start with just 3 on your very next shop. Buy whole instead of pre-cut, skip the bottled drinks, and portion your own snacks from a big bag. By the end of the month, the difference at the register will be hard to miss. None of these actually break a law, they just feel that way because the whole store is built to keep you from doing them, and Japan simply never started. Tell me in the comments which one you're dropping first, and which you were already doing without knowing it lined up with how Japan thinks about waste. I'll see you in the next one.